Oh, shit, my mic just fell. Back to the regular scheduled program. There's a lot of conversations around generative AI and AI generated images. So let's delve into some of the conversations because this is very interesting. And again, don't send hate to any parties involved. So there was a whole conversation about why people use AI art and AI generated images. And this person basically on Twitter says that hypothesis, there is a direct correlation between anti-AI sentiment and the inability to visualize things in the mind. And another person, then this is the one that we're going to talk about, quote retweeted it with this AI comic, writing AI art hates can be perfectly summarized like this. It's a 4-frame comic, which like the ordering of the comic is pretty interesting, but the caveman painting on rocks and another caveman's like paint slop pointing at the cave person that's painting. And then when the film camera came out, a painter being like film slop. And then animators looking at the TV being like digital slop. And then it's a guy yelling at his laptop with VO3 being like AI slop. This is, I feel like, always a conversation that we've kind of seen around generative AI and AI imagery when people are like, well, every time new technology comes around, people always call it slop. But you guys, at the end of the day, will acquiesce and learn to accept our technology. You have no choice. People are mad about the camera and then they later accepted it. People were mad about TVs and they accepted it. People are mad about the internet and they accepted it. So AI is like the same thing. And somebody dropped a really funny Sonic meme being like, yo, this person's got Twitter blue, so they're only rage baiting for interactions. Don't fall for it. And the general conversation that people who are against generative AI have is that this is not comparable. You can't compare Gen AI to things like the camera because it's two different things, right? People definitely had concerns when the camera came out, but a camera creates something new. By taking a picture, you're creating a photograph that did not exist before. Whereas with generative AI, it's built off of theft. It can only exist because the artwork that humans have created exists before it. And it pulls from all that artwork and all that data, or if you're using like written stuff, all the articles and things that people have written to go and aggregate that information and compile something for you, but it cannot exist without the artwork and the human input that existed before it. It's not comparable, but they love to drop these types of comics about it. Next up, we have a tweet that was just so funny because it's about the same topic, right? And it went really viral. So this post reads, I cannot comprehend how somebody thought this, but they typed out, finally, AI can show us what painters wanted us to see. And on the left, we have Van Gogh's Starry Night, and then it was fed into AI to create the image on the right, which is supposedly what Van Gogh wants us to see. And this had me laughing, but somebody posted this and wrote, actually, what the artist fucking painted is what they wanted to show us, you stupid effing prick. I'm so dead right now. I completely agree with the person's comment. Come on, if Van Gogh wanted to paint a hyper-realistic environment, he would have. Clearly, that was not what Van Gogh was intending with that art piece. Here is a self-portrait that Van Gogh has painted. Obviously, Van Gogh can paint realism or some variation of that, right? If he wanted to paint hyperrealism, he would have. And people in the comments were adding extra context, adding that Van Gogh has painted realistic landscapes, and the reason Starry Night is so iconic is that he painted it from memory at a time when he started to struggle with his mental health. Here is another one of Van Gogh's works from wikiart.org. Again, this is another piece in realism. And this is, I feel like, a conversation point, but a lot of times with like non-artists, the narrative kind of becomes, oh, the more realistic your art is, the better your art is. And that's not actually true one-to-one. Most artists who do a very stylistic type of art, they can actually do realism. They learn realism because that's kind of how you learn art, right? You learn like the foundation, the rules, the anatomy, etc. And then once you've mastered that, then you break the rules. That allows you to kind of ascend beyond like the standard. It's not like they can't paint realism. The choice was to not do it so that there is more impact, emotion, etc. And that the feelings can be captured better in the Starry Night piece or whatever. I'm not Van Gogh. I don't know what he was intending. But there was a choice there to not use realism. And that adds to the beauty of the art piece. It's not just, this was more realistic because AI put a cool sky in the background, haha. and that makes it better than Van Gogh's original work. Come on, man. But at the end of the day, the poster has a blue check mark. So whenever you see that blue check mark, and I mean, I'm honestly no better. I don't know why I have one. I thought I unsubscribed. But when you see that blue check mark, they're probably rage baiting so they can get some money in their pockets. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they're putting out posts like this. This one's a bunch of scammery going on. This was posted by Dextero, and they write, a Lyft driver reportedly attempted to charge riders a $75 damage fee by using an AI-generated image of a fake mess inside the vehicle. And more context was provided in the article written by Dylan Horetsky, where the father has stated that his 2 teenage daughters used Lyft after going to the beach. The driver then submitted the AI image, right? And the daughters were like, yo, we went to the beach. We didn't even have any food in the car. That wasn't our mess. And then they asked for the photo. And when they looked at the photo, they were like, wait, something is up with this picture. Because there was a freaking Google Gemini logo in the bottom corner. That is actually absurd. Using Google Gemini to try to fake an image so that you could scam money from Lyft or something like that. And the worst part is that this is just going to happen more and more. And of course, this is a fear that people had probably with Photoshop and stuff. I don't know. I was too young, right? I was like, I don't know. More and more people are going to be using AI to be scamming people. And it's already happening, and it's only going to be happening more. There was like another story of somebody, I think they were trying to scam a food delivery by showing that the chicken nuggets were pink inside when they weren't. But if you look at this generated image, there's like, I don't know what's happening with this seat here specifically. Here we have a seat where, as you can see, there is like this seam for the cushion, and it just disappears on the other side. And the top comment is really interesting to me, where it says, I love how AI coming into play has done basically nothing positive. Everyone is using it to lay off workers, scam people, or create fake news and propaganda. So much for AI will cure cancer. Another person writes, being evil and being pro-AI continuing to show they go hand in hand. And the final worst part was this person got caught doing it. But this must not have been their first time attempting, right? Because like, what's the likelihood you got caught the first time, you know? There could be a possibility this person possibly attempted it multiple times before, and this was just the first time they got caught. I don't know, but just, oh man. Seeing this is just so frustrating, and it just makes you lose hope because it's like, dude, man, what in the audacity did you have here? And then finally, we have another post that just got a lot of people talking. It's a very food for thought post. So OP writes, I don't like when people throw around just pick up a pencil. Being an artist requires a ridiculous amount of sacrifice that most people don't seem to realize. I respect people that can strive to make that sacrifice, but not everyone can. I'm curious about your thoughts on this take with respect. I think this is a very interesting take because yes, it takes a lot of sacrifice to do something that requires a high amount of skill. You require a lot of time and effort to put into honing your craft so you are good at what you do. And it is lazy to not want to do that. And honestly, it's entitled to, first off, be lazy and not want to do that, and then 2, feel like you deserve to have that skill that other people spent a lot of time and effort putting into. Dude, cat lore, okay, I shot national archery 7 years, shot Olympic recurve, competed nationally all across the US. I put a lot of time and effort into it, okay? But I didn't think I was entitled to go to the Olympics, okay, just because I put all this time and effort into shooting archery. The reality is I wasn't good enough to go to the Olympics. That's just a fact, okay? I don't deserve to go to the Olympics. I'm not entitled to go to the Olympics. The Olympics doesn't owe me a freaking spot on the Olympic team because I ranked number, I don't know, 17 in the US. Come on, that is just entitlement. The reality is I wasn't good enough. I didn't put in enough hours. I didn't train hard enough because I was kind of lazy. That's just the reality. And I accept this reality. I don't know why some of these people cannot accept the reality that, hey man, you're just kind of lazy. You don't want to put in the effort. That's fine. It's fine to be lazy. Just funny. This one was really funny. This person writes, not everybody can be a professional race car driver either. Doesn't give you the right to steal a car. Another person said, if I'm unable to run for more than 100 feet at a time because I am out of shape, I will never be able to call myself a marathon runner. The solution isn't to drive the length of the race. It's to either get in shape or not participate at all. And again, I think it's fine to admit that you're just bad. That's chill. It's okay to be bad. And there's honestly a beauty in being bad at things, right? There's a beauty in like learning and getting better. And a commenter says, well, yeah, not everybody is entitled to be an artist. It's a skill that you hone through time and effort. I can't draw to save my life. And quite frankly, I can't sit still long enough to draw. And that's okay. I'm certainly not going to wreck our planet to cheat my way to success. And another person writes, you being a little busy is the most I can't be bothered excuse I've ever heard. If you truly care about the creative aspect of anything, you devote just a sliver of the free time you have to at least attempt. But now let's skip the fun part and poop out slop. So a commenter asks, it doesn't mean you can't try. Sounds like you don't want to go through the trials to improve. You're not obligated to in any way, but you're missing out. And OP responds, I have a full-time job and responsibilities. There's a reason for the starving artist meme. Not every creative has the privilege of the time and tranquility of creating. I know there are those that can sacrifice. I know AI is a stopgap shortcut, but it allowed me a taste. I just think that's very interesting because I'm too busy is, in my opinion, honestly, the worst excuse to have for this. Like, again, any excuse is an excuse. Everybody has excuses under the sun for why they want to use AI or whatever, right? But I'm too busy, I think, is the worst one because, like, oh, I have a full-time job, so I don't have enough time. Dude, everybody has a full-time job, or most people, you know? So many people beyond jobs have a lot of responsibilities. They have jobs, they have families, they have kids, they have pets to take care of, they have a disability, they're chronically ill, blah, 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 blah. They still find time to draw, they still find time to do things. You know, they don't cheat their way around. So why can't you do it? Just admit it's a skill diff, and it's fine. You know, I don't know. It's always so interesting because I just read such a level of entitlement in some of these AI posts where it's like, well, I deserve to have this. I don't have enough time to do this. So, like, I'm going to go use AI for it instead. Interesting. So at the end of the day, I'm curious about your thoughts because I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts and opinions on the topics that were touched on today, and I would love to hear them with respect in the comment section down below. If you're an artist with a full-time job, let me know, right? Because I know sure as hell, I know a lot of people, full-time jobs, family, kids, chronically ill, they still manage to make art. If there's a will, there's a way. So if you like this video, I appreciate it. If you like and subscribe, don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers, creators, frog emotes, and stuff like that. I have a coffee with free resources, and I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. and Thursdays at 7:30. So I hope to catch y'all there or in another video. Peace.